PG-13, 2010, Inception.
Subconscious security.
You talking about dreams?
Mr. Cobb has a job offer he would like to discuss with you.
Like a work placement?
Not exactly. It's called Inception. Already.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Wait. Welcome to today's main event. Weighing in at 100 at 5 foot 10 inches tall. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Logan.
Christopher Nolan,
Phenomenal.
unbelievable.
One of my favorite directors.
Hey, thanks for joining us again. Let's get into it.
Absolutely.
Get your name. I got yours, right? But I never got.
Tyler, is that your name?
That's what I go by.
You should tell us who you are. Introduce yourself quick.
I'm Tyler. I work at Mayo, but this is going to be amazing. I loved movies all my life. Speaking of Christopher Nolan, love Batman.
I'm Batman.
Married to a lovely wife named Megan, and we have 3 wonderful dogs for the most part.
I love it.
Most days.
Most days, yeah. What kind of dogs do you have?
I have a little Cavapoo named Willow.
Willow.
And she is just my favorite little girl. And we have Burton, who's a Border Collie Australian Shepherd mix.
Wow.
He likes his snuggles. He also likes chasing the squirrels. And we just got a puppy in August, and her name is Psych.
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 Like the TV show?
That's where Burton's named after, too.
Ah.
And we adopted Willow. So she was already pre-named before we got her. Okay. Otherwise, she would have been named Jules.
Sure.
But huge fans
have
of
you
Psych.
seen the movie Willow?
No, but I keep meaning to.
Yeah.
Because
I just recently watched that one.
It's an old one, isn't it?
It's an old one.
Yeah. But we went to Wisconsin. We went to Great Willow State Park.
Okay.
And so I brought her with. Actually, she has an Instagram page that whenever we go, I'm trying to make it all the state parks. And so whenever I go, I am not as photogenic as she is. And so I make sure she has a nice sit and she poses and we take pictures and she just has a good old time.
I love it.
And then, so Psych, named after the TV show. She's a Belgian Tervern, which is kind of like a Belgian Malinois. My wife's a trainer, so she is really good with dogs, knows her breeds. That's how we ended up getting Psych, for her to be able to do phenomenal things in training. And she, oh gosh, I think she just turned 4 or 5 months old. So
wow.
Full of energy.
I love it. That's a good history.
History.
We are excited that you're here joining us. If you are new to the podcast, so are we.
That's right.
Yeah, this is technically, I guess we would call it our 4th episode.
Our 4th review. Yeah.
Or review, sure, whatever. Our chat, our conversation, our dialogue. We're just average. Well, I guess I would say I'm below average, Matt. You're average, Tyler. Is that what we decided?
How about you can be average, Tyler? I'll be average, Matt. We're below average of ourselves.
There you go. That might work. That'll help me sleep better at night. So the point of that is this. We're just like you. We're like the listeners, the viewers. We appreciate you. We're here to give you like entertainment value. What we saw as not people like that know the industry, but people that are entertained by the industry.
That's right.
And we have dedicated a lot of time to this. And I say that like tongue in cheek because watching the movie's fun.
It barely feels like time's gone by, or it makes it go by really fast.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but I've invested in each episode at least the same amount of time as the length of the movie per episode.
Oh, absolutely. Finding the actors and fun facts and stuff like that has been it's just as enjoyable as watching the films.
Yeah.
makes you appreciate everything that goes into it, which you don't
pulling in all
realize.
the nuance to all of it is super crucial. So we're going to have fun with this. We're going to do Inception, as I said, and it did come out in 2010. It is a PG-13. I was a little bit surprised.
Surprise, surprise, surprise!
I don't know. It didn't feel like a PG-13 to me when I looked it up. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why.
There's some dark elements.
There are dark elements, but I just didn't. Nothing stood out to me. The dark elements for sure, but nothing stood out to me like being like just really like.
Oh, the wife killing herself. Spoiler.
Yeah, if it's 2010, I mean, it's your own fault if you don't know, right? No, I'm kidding. It's yeah. So no, dark elements, I get it, but I still don't feel like it was a PG-13. Whereas what we did, I mean, if you're listening to this, it's probably a day or so apart, but we just did minutes ago, Venom.
Venom.
That did not feel like a PG-13 either. No. I was like, no way this is a PG-13.
Wait, that was just PG-13?
That was just PG-13.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, no way, it's an R. I totally disagree. Anyway, Inception.
PG-13.
Christopher Nolan, PG-13. Batman, the trilogy that he did, incredible. He brought that skill to this.
Yes, he did.
Amazing movie. I can't talk good enough about it. There it is. End the episode right here.
That's right. Watch out for your dreams, though.
Good morning. Tell us a little bit about the movie.
Well, it's about a dream, or we think it is. Really, it's a fascinating film. Did you know that it took 10 years to write for Christopher Nolan to write Inception? And
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No.
But I'm not surprised by that.
So many levels that go into this film. It's
quite literally.
Yeah, literally. That absolutely crazy to me. And it was based off of his own experiences with dreams. So it wasn't necessarily he read about dreams or he read about scientific studies about dreams. It was his own personal experiences with dreams, which is, to me, just mind-blowing of how I could connect with some of the ideas and concepts that came out of this film.
That makes sense. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I didn't read that. I read quite a bit on this, and I didn't read that. I must not have gotten to that part. I probably looked at the actors a little more honestly.
Yeah.
But that's fascinating.
Yep.
His own dreams.
Yeah.
Dude's messed up.
It's a scary place to go down. Do you have dreams? Can you remember your dreams, first off?
Some of them I can.
Okay.
If I'm really I have so I don't know. I should probably say it like this. As you know, my daughter, my oldest, died in a car crash 9 years ago. And so that really opened me up to how important dreams are.
Yep.
And one of the things that I discovered through that was not weird or anything, but that is that our memories are connected to our dreams quite a bit.
Absolutely.
And so, right? So that's what, like, I would be dreaming, but yet it would be partial of an old memory.
Yeah.
And that's where I realized how important and crucial dreams were.
Yep.
Not only to our sanity.
Exactly.
But to our connection to memory.
Yeah. Which I think, talking about Inception, he does a phenomenal job of connecting memories to what's going on alongside. I mean, you have dreams that aren't just memories, but just, I don't even know how to explain it, just average days or whatever. You don't even realize you're in a dream.
Yes.
So
maybe we're in a dream right now.
That's right.
Or the Matrix.
Where's my top? I can't honestly remember most of my dreams besides the ones where I'm just about to fall asleep and all of a sudden I'm falling and then you get that nice little kick and you're like, I'm not really sleeping because now I'm wide awake and now I have to go figure out what I want to do for the next half hour because I am full of energy.
Yeah, that's funny. And the kick is in the film.
It is.
Yeah, and that made a lot of sense.
It did.
Mean, I could totally see it took him 10 years. I can totally relate to this.
Yep.
Because of all those different pieces that were in it.
Yeah.
Getting ahead of ourselves here, though, I think. Let's talk about, the main character, Cobb.
Yep.
He is played by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Not Da Vinci.
Have you heard of him before?
Once or twice.
Okay.
I heard he actually just won an Emmy or Oscar a few years ago for the first time.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Was that what it was, or
No,
was
I
it? I thought it was like the Wolf one. I can't
Wolf
remember.
of Wall Street.
I don't think it was that one. It was the one where he was out in the wilderness.
That was Matt Damon.
Oh, was that Matt Damon?
I don't know. I'm just messing with you.
They really could be stunt doubles for each other
I
sometimes.
think so, right? He did The Great Gatsby, of course. Django Unchained.
I
I haven't seen that one, but I heard it's pretty good.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
There's some fun facts about that one.
Okay. Well, let's not go off too far. But you've probably heard of Leo in his dating life, at least.
I mean, you got the iconic Titanic.
Yes.
I don't know how
back in the late 90s.
Hold me.
Right. King of the world. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in this film.
Yeah.
He is like, did you see him in Sin City?
No.
Okay, that's kind of a weird film, but he did a great job in that. He did a lot of different things. I'm not going to go through. He was in Looper. I liked that a lot.
That was a good one.
He was obviously Christopher Nolan and Batman. This is the connection with him. All those things. I mean, just phenomenal. He's super busy. You see him all over the place. So that was fun to see him. As a pretty main character here.
Yeah. Voice of reason.
Yeah, that too.
Yep.
Yeah, that was very level-headed, very like telling Leo not to lose his head.
That's right.
And that scene. I guess now Elliot Page, but was Ellen Page?
Yeah.
At the time of the film.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure.
They changed the credits.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Because I watched it online.
Okay.
On whatever, HBO or whatever, something like that.
Right.
And I watched the credits, and I'm like, Elliot Page? Who's Elliot Page?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, right. I kind of forgot, transition. But was Ellen Page in the film at the time.
And she's doing well now. She just got done with doing the big one on, I think it was Netflix.
Yeah, it's a he.
Umbrella Academy.
It's a he now, though.
Oh, is it?
That's Elliot Page.
Oh, really?
Yeah, transitioned.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So that's why I was confused at first.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but and at the time, Ellen Page did X-Men, the newer X-Men and stuff. So phenomenal actresses in this.
I liked her in Juno, or him in Juno.
Yeah, I was confused. I guess it probably doesn't,
It's
whatever.
not easy when names change.
Yeah, so that's not the point of it, but just a phenomenal acting, right? And
wide range.
Totally. Tom Berenger was in it.
Yep.
And another Tom. What was his name? Tom what?
I think he was involved. The Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys. Yeah. Yes. He was also, of course, in The Dark Knight.
Yep.
Phenomenal. Lawless.
Yep.
Incredible movie.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
I did not.
Oh, you got to watch that. So it's just a fun time. And then Ken Watanabe.
It's not Wasabi, but yeah, I think Watanabe is right.
Watanabe,
yeah.
I think. Godzilla, King of Monsters. He was in Pokemon, actually. The King and I. He's Transformers. He was Drift.
And did you hear that part of the reason that he was written into the script because Christopher Nolan wanted him to have a bigger part because he felt bad how small his part was. I forget which. I'm going to be terrible. He was in one of the Batmans. I forget which one. But it was really small. It was a smaller part. And so he wrote this role with him in mind because he wanted to give him a bigger.
It was perfect.
Yeah. It was absolutely. And he did a phenomenal job with his role.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is just you look at this list, Cillian Murphy as well. He's of course Christopher Nolan. They're all intertwined, obviously.
It amazes me how many, because this was done in 2010.
Yes.
Dark Knight trilogy or Dark Knight Rises was in 2012. It almost feels, and then Dark Knight, the original Dark Knight,
but Batman Begins would have been done in 2006?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
And then 2008 was...
Yeah.
So it almost feels like he was like, you know what? We need a break from Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Let's just make this little side project that I'm working on. Do you guys want to roll? And then...
Side project that's taken 10 years.
Minor details.
Yeah. So it's just... You would literally... I mean, you'd have to almost like make them sit in a circle and stare at each other for this to not be a good film.
It would still be good.
With that, I think it would.
Are you kidding me? You would have the eyebrow... Leo would do a nice little eyebrow raise to Jordan, and Jordan would be like, interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, right? It's true. So just, to start there, it's stacked with great people.
Soundtrack was by Hans Zimmer.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Oh, he did some Bond.
One of my favorites. Actors. Or not actors, composers.
Yeah. And spoiler, Tyler likes the score.
I do like scores.
You like the soundtrack.
I will listen to soundtrack music all day long. If I could, I would just play it on speaker.
You might get fired, but, whatever.
It'll be worth it.
Hopefully your boss isn't listening. No,
he'll understand.
I'm kidding.
Who doesn't want a soundtrack for their whole life?
Right? So yeah, let's really dig into it.
All right, should we talk about the actor chemistry first then?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I think like we talked about, it amazes me how many times these actors work together with Christopher Nolan, and I think it really shows in this film because you really believe that they care for each other with... You don't really ever see, Arthur and Cobb. You don't really see any of their backstory, but they have one, especially with Cobb's wife being a big part of who Cobb is and his character development throughout the film. But you don't really ever see like their backstory explained or anything. But because of how well they interact together, you could tell they had that history. And it didn't need to be explained. And because of that, they could just continue on and work on the other relationships in the film. Which brings us, I think, to Elliot, because she's kind of brought into this whole Inception gang.
Yeah, and let's talk about this right away too. This is not a short film, so they had the time to do those things.
Yes, they did.
It's 2.5 hours, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah,
didn't feel like it though.
It didn't. So go ahead, continue.
Exactly. So because of that relationship, they were able to focus on Cobb and Elliot and their relationship. So Ariadne, is that her name? I forget. I can't pronounce it. I have it written, but that doesn't mean
I'm really bad with names.
Yeah.
So I think that's how you say it. I probably should have listened a little bit closer in the film, but I believe that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's how it's spelled anyway.
Yeah, that's how I read it. If I was to pronounce that, that's what I would do. So I thought it was really cool because of the chemistry between Leo and Joseph. They could really focus in on building the character development between Leo and Elliot, which I think was important to build throughout the film. Because you knew in the film they didn't have any history besides when they met and started talking about Inception and what it was. And I thought their relationship throughout the film was one of my favorites to see. And that chemistry was there where you could really see that they cared for each other. And then each of the side characters, if that's what you want to call them, they were very interesting to me. And part of that, I think, is how well they were portrayed, and then again, how well they worked together as a team. Because you even think about Mr. Sato, played by Ken. I mean, he's really...
Watanabe.
He doesn't care really about any of the characters. He has his goal in mind.
Yeah, and it almost, that goal to me was like, oh, I feel kind of like you're a hero here.
Right.
Even though it was like you're trying to go after better business for yourself.
Right.
I felt like that was kind of heroic in the way that he was trying to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So actor chemistry, I think it's... Cobb and Ariadne continue to push each other throughout the film. Leo dealing with his own conflicts that he had for Cobb in the past, and then Elliot's character understanding that and be able to work through that relationship together to make sure that everyone stayed safe at the end. I gave it 4.5 for actor chemistry. I thought everyone worked well together. I didn't think there were too many characters that there were a few characters that I wasn't interested or wanted to learn more about. So I think that's...
Sorry, I had a yawn right there. Let's just throw that in there. I don't know if the camera was on me at all or not, but I had a big old yawn going on. And only, not because of what you were saying, only because, like, I've been doing... I got to be totally transparent here. I've been doing podcasts since... well, let's see. I'm going on like 14 hours. I've done a lot of stuff
that is
today.
A good chunk of time.
So, yeah. So it has nothing to do with what you were...
So this really could be a dream state.
Right. Yeah, totally. Totally could be. Yeah, I love it. So can I'm going to beat you on this one.
Not
4.7.
Oh, dear.
4.7 I had.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
They did... What I thought they did such a phenomenal job on with the actor chemistry was when they were planning.
Yes.
Planning this mind heist essentially, right? And so they just stuck so much time into learning each other, planning it, making sure that it was as flawless as it could be.
Yeah.
All the while, the chemistry between Leo's character and Paige's Mr. and Miss Page, whatever, at the time, Ellen, now Elliot, that character, they did a really good job of like developing that trust.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it blew up.
Yep.
So I thought that was phenomenal.
I agree.
4.7.
I agree.
Filming locations.
Inception's a weird one for that because it's all in the mind for the most part, besides the few where you're dealing with like the jet or a helicopter scene or in between. So really everything when it comes to filming location was a free-for-all for what they could do. And I thought when they got to the main heist where they were in Robert's mind, I thought it was really fascinating how they went from a big open space where you're in the big city where they're driving around in cars, the train crashed through, and things like that. And they go into a warehouse, and then they continue to drive in the van. You get into the second dream state, it's a hotel. So it gets a little bit smaller and more confined as you're getting deeper in the dream, getting more at the core of, I guess, the ethos of who the person is. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was cool how they then went to a hotel, which was well shot. And then you go to the last scene where it's this, I mean, it's a little bit bigger in the sense you have, it reminded me of like Hoth, honestly.
Oh,
where
sure.
It's a nice big open mountain space with this small little.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
And so small confined base. And so I really like the filming locations just based, I guess that goes into cinematography, which we'll talk about later. But I really liked how everything was shot. And then also when things were getting folded, the cafe scene, which I mentally thought it was Italy, where they're eating and first introducing. I thought, again, I think
it ended up being France, though, right?
That's probably what it was.
I think so, yeah. I would agree with that Italy thing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But
it's Europe.
Yes.
Just kidding.
I've been to Italy, by the way.
Oh, my gosh.
I've actually been to Paris, technically.
Did you fly over it, or did you just...
No, I landed in Paris at the airport. Saw the Eiffel Tower from the sky.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. Sidebar there.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, a little bit about me.
So I thought... I think I mentally probably mixed filming location and cinematography a little too much together with those, but each place seemed believable, and I think that's... Going back to the heist, when they were planning the whole thing, they had to plan every single detail. And so I thought it was cool when they did zoom up shots of particular things to really emphasize how detailed and accurate it was and things like that. So I gave, again, it's kind of hard because, again, it's all in the mind. And so it's being architected. So when it comes to filming locations and what's actually going on, they could really portray whatever they wanted. And I think what they portrayed, they did very well. So I gave it a 4.5 for that, just because each place, each location, I was intrigued to see what was going on in the background, what was going on, the main focus, and things like that.
This feels like an arm wrestle thing to me because I got a 4.1, so I lost on that one. Right? No. The 4.1 filming locations was, for me, there was a few things that I was like, they tried to make it somewhat believable, but it wasn't, and so I understand one of the scenes particular was the train.
Yep.
Right. And I get it that it was in the mind and things like that, but they never connected it to anything.
I think it was, the dream where they have the train going by.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it was connected to.
Well, I get but why? But they never said, like, okay, was this Mal's character?
Yep.
The wife that had passed away, killed herself, or was this Cobb that brought it in? They never connected that for me. Who that was, why? I mean, I got the train and when they connected.
Dude, that was
all
a
the
tractor.
Train. What's that?
It was a tractor.
Was it really?
Yeah,
for
they
real?
decked out a tractor. They did very minimal CGI in this thing.
No kidding. I would have totally guessed otherwise.
Well, that's minimal, but compared to like most epics for a film like that, what I read was it only had 500 visual effects compared to like where similar epics can have up to 2,000.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. Not that has anything to do with the filming location with the train, but I just thought that was an interesting thing.
That's pretty good. That's relatable then too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why there was a couple of things that were a little bit loose that I didn't feel they connected good enough. So which made the locations not seem like that. It didn't seem to make sense.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part with this film when you're looking at filming locations is that because it's a dream state, you're balancing things where you're right, they're trying to make it as realistic as possible. But again, stuff within the dream is messing with the actual reality of what's going on.
Right, but opening scene, the building flooding,
yep,
where he gets the kick or whatever into the tub and spoiler there right there, sorry. That made sense.
Yep.
Right? That seemed like legitimate that would happen if there was a big flood, the big, tsunami type thing. But the train, that was the one thing that tipped me over the edge.
No trains allowed.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, cinematography, that fancy word that we're using again, that basically means how does it look on the screen?
I thought it looked good.
4.5 for me.
That's exactly what I had. I had a stalemate on Russell. I think, again, tying back to what I thought with, at least for me, with the filming locations, I thought they did a really good job of trying to show what's going on in the mind through a movie and going through those levels and states. Again, I thought it was really cool how they went from big open space when you're getting to the basic layers of your dream, and then as you're getting deeper, you're going for one particular location. And then alongside, I thought it was cool when you're dealing with the first dream state where they're in that van, the van crashes and then starts going through spinning. And then the third dream state, that's what's going on. You see Jordan's character, or Joseph's character.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Arthur, his character is spinning.
Yeah.
Which I thought was incredibly well done. Or even slight things where they took a sharp turn and the wine glasses all pushed.
Like, the detail was phenomenal.
It was insane to me of all the little things they took care of. And did you know in Japan when it was released, they actually, during the film, they put on the bottom right the dream state. So they did like 1, 2, 3. So viewers were able to like understand what dream state is this going on. And so 1, so you got the first level with the big city, that's 1, and then you got the hotels 2, so they would have that, which I thought was a cool thing. And I think
that's interesting.
I think like could distract from the film, but also I thought it was just helpful if you're trying to really, because it did get confusing at times. We're trying to understand what's going on where. and how it had effect on each one. So I thought that was an interesting thing that they did over there. And I was like, I could definitely see why they did that.
Yeah. Oh, I could totally too. I almost had to take notes like, okay, this is where they're right. Not really, but costume design.
I thought it was pretty consistent. And I think that was the important part through this film. Again, dealing with dream states. It was a more elegant clothing choice overall in each of the dream states. Which made sense for what they were trying to do. It was very, I mean, even you got Mr. Sato and Robert's business is why we're doing this. And so it made sense that they were in dressed up apparel and things like that. Another fun note that I noticed, Elliot's character in the second scene, or in the second dream stage when they're at a hotel, the reason that she has a bun is because when they're doing the rotating stuff, they didn't want to have to worry about her hair.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's, well.
So I gave, costume design a 4. I thought it made sense for what was going on. Nothing spectacular happening. Didn't take me out of what was happening.
I gave it a 3.8 for costume design, and I'll tell you why.
Tell me more.
Wait, that's why we're here.
That's right.
Why.
Tell me all about it.
The red dress.
A time of scoundrels.
The woman in the red dress.
That's true.
Does that remind you of anything?
Tell me more.
The Matrix. Remember that?
Yeah.
Just way out of place.
Yep.
I wanted to see that.
Yep.
Because we're in a dream state.
Right.
And it's too perfect.
Right.
The dream states, I thought.
Yep.
I wanted to see that character that was just like, I'm not supposed to be here.
That's true.
That to me. So
Yeah.
I wanted to. I've watched. I'll be completely honest. I love this movie.
Yep.
This is one of my favorites
Yes.
of all time. They did a phenomenal job on almost every aspect of this, and you can watch it over and over again and learn something new.
Yeah.
And so, every time I watch it, I always think, I'm like, okay, they're in a dream state. That's great. I get it. But where's the woman in the red dress? To me.
That's true.
Where's this character that's just clearly is not supposed to be here?
Which I think they could have done with Mel's character. I think that would have been the place that they would have needed to do that with.
Right. Like they could have over the top,
Yeah.
whether that had been in a penguin suit. I mean, not literally, that
Right.
was dumb, but my point is that it just needed to be way over the top for me in the dream state. There needed to be that one thing that was just way over the top for costume.
Which they could have done. I think they could have done when they're in that third dream state where they're at. I'm going to call it Hoth Planet. I don't know what the actual place was called. Because the fact her character was having such an impact on the dream at that point, they could have really just made it pop where everyone else in the dream would like, this doesn't make sense. Why is this character here?
Yeah, totally. Music score.
I loved it. It was so good. I enjoyed. Hans Zimmer is loud and very, I forget the word for it, but it's very technical where it's not really instruments that you hear throughout. It's very like mechanical, which I thought was really well done in this film, where they did some of the slow motion stuff. The music kept me engaged. I think there were parts where it was a little too loud, where the characters were talking, and I loved it. I loved the music. I love soundtrack. So
That made sense to me though. For this reason, they had the headphones on.
Yeah,
and I think I agree. It was hard to follow that, but they had the headphones on, so that was supposed to be like there's two different layers of the sound,
right,
so to speak. Yeah.
So that was my only catch. I think sometimes,
but
I would hate to say it was too much.
But look, I mean, Hans Zimmer, he did No Time to Die.
Yep.
The new Bond that's coming out like today.
Yeah.
I think it came out today in the States.
Yep.
The movie that we're going to cover in a couple of weeks, Dune.
Yep.
He did
Sherlock Holmes.
Did Sherlock Holmes, the Da Vinci Code, Dunkirk. The
Batman
Batmans.
trilogy. Yep.
I mean,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Well, he did the first. He did the first one, and I think someone took over.
Pearl Harbor.
Yep.
Did Pearl Harbor. So clearly, I mean,
he knows what he's doing.
He's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it.
And so, yeah, I don't think it was necessarily his fault. The parts where I had issues with it,
Sure.
I think it was more of probably editing, where they made it a little bit too loud, where I couldn't. Again, maybe it was part of the dream state and things like that. I gave it 4.6. I really did enjoy it. Again, when you do like blah, you'll know that's from Inception because of how iconic it is.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna beat you up on this one just a little. 4.8 I had.
Yeah.
So because it was like I said when we were discussing it, of the reasons why, it was just very, very well done.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from on
Yep.
that too loud thing, but you were at my house this summer when
Yep.
we kind of did the in-person interview and did some phone stuff before that, but
Yeah.
you know how loud it was that
Yep.
I had an event, and that's kind of, I have similar sound system when I watch my movies
right
on the big screen that I have out back. So I like it loud.
Yeah.
So that's why, but
yeah, I think again, most
Crank it up.
soundtracks I love.
Crank it
you
up.
get the bass, you get the full immersion. That's one of my favorite things about scores is how well it just immerses you without even you realizing what's going on.
yeah, totally. Overall entertainment value for you?
I thought it was a 4.5. They were constantly doing new things within the dream states. They were even the introduction of when they were first talking to Ariadne about what it means to be an architect and things that you can do within it. Phenomenal. I thought it was so cool. You got the whole basically horizon coming up and then going on top and then rotating it over and then the mirror scene. I thought they were constantly doing new things that they didn't. And then when you got to when they were going to Robert's mind, they were doing things that they didn't really talk about, but because they had introduced it and because of how well it played out, it made complete sense. And like that was such a cool concept. You think about like the elevator scene where they get the explosives and things like that. I gave it a 4.5. It's one of those things you could constantly watch and you'll catch new things of things that are going on. The end scene, is it all a dream? Do you remember that with the spin topping? What do you think? Was it a dream at the end or was it?
I am with Cobb on this one.
Yep.
I don't want to know. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I've really thought about, because those videos, and I this is not what this podcast is, and I don't want it to be, is where they're like, the ending means.
Right.
I mean, because that's subjective.
Right.
So I guess to me, that ending is like, yeah, you know what? At this point, I just want to be with my kids. He's thinking, I don't care if it's real or not real. I would love to see a second Inception to just tie all that stuff together.
Yeah.
What did happen? Was it real? Where was he at? Was it a dream? Did the top, the totem, as they called it,
right,
reveal he was in the real world or not?
Yeah.
I would love to see the closure, but done by Christopher Nolan.
Yes,
not
I agree.
Somebody, subjectively saying X, Y, Z.
I think that's what the interview. So I read because I was curious.
Yeah.
And Christopher Nolan said that he was. It wasn't.
La. No, I'm kidding.
Again, it's all perception, and I think that's it's like art. It's just like movies where it really. You can interpret it any way you want, and even the director will have their opinions about the reasons that they did it, but doesn't make you, just because you have different opinions doesn't mean it's wrong, because it's what you share and what you want to hold true with the film.
Yes, because the film didn't want you to do that. It wanted you to feel. It wanted you to be one of the characters. Yes.
And so, Christopher Nolan said the goal of that end shot was to show that Cobb's character was not caring about the dreams anymore, but he was more invested in his kid. So he left the top, because in the film, he mentions that you always have that on you, because if you don't and someone overtake it, you'll never know if you're in a dream or not.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was a good tie and say, you know what, it's not about the dreams anymore. He can really be with his family and have that opportunity, which I thought was cool. It's always the question at the end of this film, though, was it a dream or is it not a dream?
Every time I watch it. Every time. I agree. Overall entertainment, I'm going right to a 4.8 again.
Yeah.
Like, this is a consistent theme with me. I get that. But it's just very entertaining. It can't quite get a perfect score of a 5.
Yep.
But it was very entertaining all the way along. Every time I watch it, I'm interested in it. Sure, I've fallen asleep a time or two when I watch it, but more or less on purpose.
Right.
Not because it doesn't have entertainment value, but because it's like, you know what? I know what's happening. I would like to relax a little bit. So with
it's a
that
scary
said,
place to
still,
do.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's where we're at. So with entertainment value, let's rate the whole thing.
I would give it, I think Inception does a very good job of jaw-dropping new ideas, or dropping new ideas in your head with fascinating concepts. Things that you didn't necessarily think about before, or maybe you have, but then when it gets brought in late in the film, you're like, that would make a lot of sense. The movie has you focus more on one central story that has sequences going on through different states. So it's crazy to me, because each character, someone has to stay back in the old or in the first. Someone has to stay in the first state. Someone has to stay in the second state. Someone has to stay in third. And so it has you focus on the one main mission of getting that idea planted in his head, not knowing that it was planted by somebody else. But at the same point, through all the different levels, they're all going through these different struggles of dealing with the mind. And so I thought that was well done. Leonardo DiCaprio and Elliot Page have great chemistry that allows growth for both characters. I think that was, again, one of my favorite parts about this movie, is that they didn't know each other before, but through the film you see them grow. You see her go into his dream state and get to know more about him, that you see to have an impact because she understands his dreams.
Right.
She knows, well, Mel is really having effect right now. You really have to take control of this. So I thought that relationship was fascinating and grew the whole time. Leonardo as Cobb, dealing with his past and the effects that it's having on his current life and the dream states that are going on. And as Elliot, as Ariane, beginning to understand dreams and understanding and architecting new worlds and the effect that has on a person. So I thought it was phenomenal, done with all those different concepts, those different characters building and growing, like you said, we've talked about previously. So I gave it a 4.7. Again, just there were so many things that they did right in this film.
Drum roll, please. 4.8 again. Half the reason I did a 4.8 on these last three is a joke. It's kind of, I'm like, yeah, let's just do all three.
That's right.
4.8, right?
Consistency.
But again, it couldn't get a perfect score. Obviously, there's a few things weren't great. But in overall, it did have everything.
Yep.
And it had a really good balance of everything. I thought it had great action scenes.
Yep.
Which included the van going off the bridge, the van rolling.
Insane.
That's and then the comedy pieces in it too, and so it really had all these different aspects of it that I thought were really good. So 4.8. I think that you couldn't do much better. 2.5 hours couldn't be better spent.
No. For
entertainment.
Right.
So that's
completely agree with you on that one. I still say 4.7 though.
You might be wrong, but
I might be right.
You might be. That's why we get to do this.
That's right. We can have our own opinions.
That's right. Thanks for joining us this week. Tyler, is that your name?
That is
Wait,
my
you're
name.
Matt. No.
Yes.
Only if
I'm the average Matt.
the average Matt.
Under below Tyler. Under average Tyler.
Okay. Wait. It's late.
It is very late.
It's fun. Can we find you somewhere?
Yeah, follow me on. I mainly use. I guess I use Instagram as the main one. You can follow me on
That's your dog's.
My dog one is different.
Okay.
And so my personal one, which I guess I don't post much because I post everything on the dogs. But if you want to follow me, I do post sometimes. It's TPETER 361.
Awesome. I'm Matt Logan. This is Matty's Movie Mix. You can follow us like almost everywhere. I can't say everywhere because, there are places I just don't go.
And following us at home is also, I would not prefer that.
That's a good point. See you next time.